This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Style and Forged Irish Stout. Delighted to be joined with Joe Gallagher. We're here in Liverpool for a massive fight for Natasha Jonas. She takes on Mikaela Mayer. Yourself, you're very busy on the card. I think you've got 3 fighters out. Prefer being busy like that, would you say?
Always, even back to the nights of the Manchester Arena when we used to have 5 on the show. I just think it's good. It warms me up as a coach, gets me switched on, gets me in tune, gets me a feel for the arena. I'm ready to be top of my game for the fighter and the headline acts.
Well, I was going to say, when you have so many people in camp, and I think all your fighters are really pretty active, they're always sort of working towards something. Do you sort of prefer everyone being in camp in a way where you can both work on them all separate things?
Yeah, I think, listen, we have our days where they come in and they do the work, and it's just that team mentality, and it's a hard sport, it's a lonely sport, boxing at times, but have other people around you when you're not feeling well to pull you through the sessions and vice versa, and the gym environment, the banter, the crack, and yeah, like I said, we win together, we lose together.
And a massive fight on top of the bill. Natasha Jonas does take on Mikaela Mayer. I'm excited for another, legacy-defining fight for Natasha Jonas.
Yeah, huge night for Natasha. Like I say, headlining in Liverpool, 2-weight world champion, unified, ring belt, boxer of the year. It's there's much more for her to do, but like I say, it's a huge fight with Mikaela Mayer, a hard fight. Mikaela's got to bring plans A, B and C to win the fight. We've got to try and negate them and come out with the win. It's a tough fight, and in my opinion, I know the contender afterwards, everyone will be talking about what a fight, and possibly one of the fights of the year already.
One thing I did want to ask you, when it's a camp over Christmas, I think Natasha touched on it slightly, when it comes to sort of the preparation for it, trying to get the sparring in, especially for someone like Mayer, who's a tall, rangy opponent, do you find that hard over Christmas, where people are sort of not in the gym, they're tapering off slightly, they do take some time off? Do you find the sort of the look for sparring a little bit more difficult when it comes over Christmas, especially in the lead up to this fight? Yeah,
of course it does. It's the time of year where everyone wants to be at home, the families have a day off from boxing. Boxing's very hard, it's 24/7, 365 days of the year, and when you've been in a gym and sparring and fighting, and then you want to go home and chill, and then you got to ask people, do you want to come up to Manchester and Moss Side and do you want to do some sparring Christmas Day or Boxing Day or all that? It's not the best offer to be putting to people, is it? So yeah, that's it, and then New Year's Eve. So there is that, but we've got sparring in before that break, and we've had plenty of good sparring since. So it's I'm really grateful for the girls that have come up and sparred with Natasha, and they've done a good job.
And what is it about Natasha, not to be rude, but at her age can consistently sort of defying logic and sort of getting better and better with every fight in a way? What do you think that is about her?
Well, she's not on performance-enhancing drugs.
No, of course not. No, I wasn't saying that, mate. Come on.
Well, that's what the insinuation was last week.
No, not at all.
No, listen, I just think it's hard work and dedication, to quote Mayweather, but the work that she puts in gives her the confidence that's what she does, and she lives well, trains well, and she leaves no stone unturned. What she invests in herself, a self-investment in what she does in recovery sessions and chat sessions and going around to communities and kids in classes and children, and that is, she's just a brilliant role model, and I think she loves that, and being able to walk around as a world champion and inspire the next generation and the generation of that. So it's I just think it's basic, it's down hard work, and like I say, if you work hard and you live well and you clean well, she's your career, you just got to look at, if you look over to America for years, Hopkins, Mosley, Mayweather, Judder, Cotto, they all fought on for years and years because they lived a life, do you know what I mean? So maybe we don't so much over in this country putting on weight before fights and everything else, but Natasha, she doesn't have to bother about a weight. She walks around at the weight that she fights at as well, but she's always in the gym, even if she's got a fight date or not. So I just think it's down to that, really.
And when we've seen Natasha take the step up with tough opponents, as we've seen before, we have always sort of seen a real good performance about her. Do you feel like sort of Saturday night this is coming when the opponents step up, someone like Mayer who is going to give it as much as Tasha is, that's when we will really see the best of her?
Yeah, I think so, but I think it's unfair to say that on the opponents that she's beat for the world titles. Maria Dicker was a very good opponent, and we beat her, we had to dig in. Patricia Berghout was a good fighter, Christian Namis we stopped early, and like you say, Natasha has always on the big stage delivered. Katie Taylor, Terry Harper, so she always comes 100%. You can never doubt that, just because this is a harder opponent, we've got to get a better Natasha. Natasha's got to be at the top of the game. The targets are on her back and everyone's coming for her, and she's aware of that, so it comes with the titles of being a world champion.
And when it comes to someone like Mikaela Mayer, from everyone that Natasha has faced, typical question, but with her coming up in weight, but having sort of the range advantage, especially with her height, how does it stack up differently to whatever Natasha's faced before?
Say that again, sorry.
How does sort of Mayer stack up differently to what she's faced before with her, I suppose, coming up in weight, but also having sort of the height advantage?
Well, I think with her skill set, she was an Olympian. She's a good boxer, boxing on the front foot, back foot, can fight on the inside, as you've seen with Hamadouche, and she's got a good team around her. The team are very knowledgeable. Al Mitchell, a very good coach. He used to train and coach David Reed, a really talented fighter. So she knows her stuff and she can fight, and that's why I say this is like what's making people this time of the year put their hands in their pocket, come to the arena to support Natasha, because they know so how much of a hard fight it is.
And another one, just touching there about being in the arena and back in Liverpool. I know we've had a couple in Manchester, but being back in the hometown, I suppose, of Liverpool must be a nice thing for her to get a big support on Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. She was becoming an adopted Manc the amount of time she was fighting at the arena there, but it's a lucky hunting ground for her. She won the WBC belt, I think, here in Liverpool as well. So it's at the end of the day, a ring's a ring, and Tasha's fully aware of that. And but it's nice. She doesn't have to drive down the motorway. She goes home like today now. She's gone and done a school run and gone and picked the daughter off, regardless there was a public workout. That just shows you, like, family first. There's bigger things in life in boxing, and that's the thing with Tasha's very level-headed.
Well, I suppose I just wanted to move on. Just wanted to touch on last week. Artur Beterbiev defeated Callum Smith. What did you make of the fight? Now it's been about sort of 4 or 5 days since it.
I don't know really. Like I say, Callum went in there, he gave it his best, and it just wasn't good enough. Artur Beterbiev is a good fighter, being in against him with Callum Johnson, and good skill set, good Olympian, hurt Usyk in the Olympics, 20 fights, 20 wins. 20 knockouts, and that's all you can say really. Like you say, it's no shame. He's gone in there and he's lost against one of the best pound for pound fighters in the world at the moment. Tough time of year, January, over in Canada, snow. I'm not saying it'd be a different fight if it would have been in Liverpool and had a say in the ring size and all that, but like I say, it was done now, and Callum, as I said in the interviews afterwards, he's got to go home, spend a bit of time with his family and everything, and he's got 2 young kids there, and like I say, decide what he's going to do, whether he wants to come back in a fight. I've seen lots of people talking about Anthony Yard, but unless it's for a title of some sorts, that depends what happens with Bivol and Beterbiev. When the belt's vacate, will Callum want to go then? So it's a long time from now till then, and I'm sure he'll sit down with his family and he'll make the right decision what's best for him.
Definitely. Another one I wanted to touch on, we did see the press conference for Anthony Joshua against Francis Ngannou. A big fight, both in size and in stature. I suppose something that you touched on in an interview, I think it was with Seconds Out with Eamon, you was talking about sort of Ngannou almost sort of, you'd be a bit disappointed if you were someone like Bakoli or Hrgovic skipping the queue, in a sense. Just sort of, I suppose, elaborating more on that comment. Do you feel like sort of you would be disappointed if you're looking at it from a Bakoli or Hrgovic point of view, where you want the big fights and someone that's had one pro fight is sort of stepping in there already?
It's mad, isn't it? If you went and put box rec figures out and go, this is the next opponent, Anthony Joshua, whatever, is 2-weight world champion, is fighting a kid, a pro who's lost his debut as a pro. People are like, oh, that's a mismatch, you can't do this, but it was who he fought in his pro debut, a world champion, the manner in his performance, getting the knockdown, and I think that's what's half got him to the front of the queue, and it was exciting, and it's the not knowing, and the suspense, can he cause the upset, can he ruin AJ, can put the stop to the talk of Tyson Fury, AJ. That's most probably what it's got to be sold on, what it is being sold on, and like I said, the people in the background, Chang's going to have to fight Parker, and Bakoli will fight someone else, and Hrgovic will fight someone else, so it's the main thing's the fighting, and that's it, but we're all got to be sitting and we're all got to be watching, and as Francis says, he only has to land once. Tyson Fury got up, and would AJ get up, and AJ's got to be on top of the game. People are talking about, oh, he's got to show his class here now, and maybe Anthony Joshua is an Olympian, do you know what I mean? He has got a good boxing skill set, and maybe that'll be enough to beat Francis Ngannou, or was Francis Ngannou just had his lucky night and his luck's running out against Anthony Joshua, but that's what's selling the event, isn't it?
Absolutely. And just a final one from me. When it comes to the topic of Saudi Arabia, we look on undercards and you see fights like, Mark Chamberlain versus Gavin Gwynn, Cordina Vikacacha. When we see domestic fights, is there a worry from a point of view in this country where there's a saturation there in Saudi Arabia where we're seeing domestic fights and we won't be seeing it in this country? We won't be seeing big fights in this country anymore, sort of domestically. Is there a worry about that, would you say?
wouldn't say so. I think you're right. The undercards don't have 4-rounders, 6-rounders, and everything else. They're all big fights, title fights. We've seen the Fury and Ngannou, the fights before that was on it. But I can't really see that. I think Frank is still, as well as doing his big fights over there, he's still doing his York Halls, his Telfords and everything else, and he's bringing the next crop, the next generation through. If the fighters can get bigger money for British title fights over there, then I'm sure Frank's got to bring them over there. But they're not leaving boxing behind over here. It's just where the main events years ago, whether you were Hatton in a big fight, you went to Vegas. It's now, if you're Tyson Fury in a big event, it's got to be in Saudi. So that's how it is. But I think if you look at Frank Warren, who's behind it all, the shows that he's doing at York Hall, like I said, Telford and everything else, the small hall is still going, still thriving, and he's bringing the next generation go. I understand what you're saying, but I don't necessarily think small hall show would be the death of small hall shows or Frank's show. They need the next generation to come through, and that's something Frank's done for years.
Absolutely, Joe. Thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really, really appreciate catching up with you. Top man, mate, and all the best for Saturday night, mate. Thank you. Cheers.
We need to think of a new advert for freebets.com.
Get your best betting offers from freebets.com.
Yeah, that'll do.
The following deals are now live.